high note and you mess up and your voice cracks?
Starting with the tough questions right away.
Well, I keep going. That's really the main thing to do is just keep going. The great thing about a song is that the song continues. So even if you stumble on one moment, there's always a moment of new interest because there's a new section of the song, there's a next section of the song, there's a new lyric to get to, there's another note to get to. So you just keep going and you jump on that, and maybe next time around you hit it. But you can't worry about the note you just missed.
Oh, see, I tell them...
Once that moment passes, you have to be on the next moment.
I tell them to go fetal on the floor and cry.
Or you can do that, as long as you find a nice sanitary section of the floor. A clean area, make sure you spray it down with all-purpose cleaner.
Absolutely.
What's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria? Where are you from, Victoria?
Somewhere off the coast of Jupiter. Sorry. What's your question, sweetie?
What's your question?
Or maybe she just wants to stand up and
I think her question was, what do you do when Gavin DeGraw asks you a question and you totally forget everything you were going to say?
Hi, my name is Nyla.
Hi, Nala.
My question is, what do you do when people like criticize you or something? Do you keep on going or?
Always. So when someone criticizes you, you can either ignore them or listen to them. I always hear what the criticism is, and then I try to figure out if the criticism is constructive or if it's coming from the wrong place. And so that's a decision you have to make on your own to decide if the criticism or the person criticizing you really cares about you and what you're doing, or is simply trying to hurt your feelings. So you're going to have that. And the nature of putting yourself out there as a performer or as a singer puts you in a situation where people are going to judge you and criticize you. Yeah. But you can always feel comfortable in the fact that you're the one brave enough to take the risk at being criticized, where they're just sitting on the sidelines.
Where was the first performance?
My first performance? My first performance was at camp. I was probably 11 years old, and we were having, we had what was called Color War. You ever play Color War in camp? Everybody has a different color. You get yellow flags, red flags, blue flags, right? Right. So we had Color War, and so we play sports and this and that, and then of course we had a creative performance segment of the competition, and me and my friends were all hanging out, and they're like, "What are we gonna do? We don't have any talent, you know." We're like, "We just hang out, you know." And they're like, "Gavin, you sing a little. Why don't you sing something?" I was like, "I don't want to sing in front of people, you know." They're like, "Just do it. We don't have anything else, you know." So the first performance was at day camp, in the middle of the day, in front of the camp, and they all, me and a couple of my friends walked out onto the basketball court, and they're all sitting there on the grass, and we did a song called Mr. Sandman. Do you know Mr. Sandman? Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Right? Oh, no.
He's saving his voice for the good stuff.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a tree. Boom, boom, boom. You're the cutest that I've ever seen. Boom, 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 boom. Right, you know that one. And so that was my first experience with it. And then I kind of got excited about it, even though I was nervous. And it was very, it freed me doing it for the first time. So sometimes when it comes to performing, I know it's difficult to step out from the group and do it, but I promise you, once you do it, you'll feel a great relief. And I think that's the way life works in general, that one thing that you might be afraid of doing that you think is a really strong desire for you as it might be something that's pulling you to do it for your life, something that you're very, very interested in. You might have a goal. And sometimes it's important for you to kind of put yourself out there and put your dreams in front of you and just kind of step out and just grab a hold of them.
What's your favorite song that you wrote?
My favorite song that I wrote? It's hard to pick a favorite, but up there at the top for me would be one that we're going to be doing today, which would be "I Don't Want to Be," because it changed my life, you know. And so there's a song that I wrote out of complete honesty, and it happened to be the most successful song that started my career and really set the tone for what my career would become ultimately. And it was a very it's a bit of an autobiographical song, you know. It's really about my life and how I feel and my perspective. I got very lucky that a song that I truly believed in as an artist became a hit song. See, it's not about getting famous. It's about what you get famous for.
Do you feel happy when you make other people happy while you sing?
I do. It's a good question.
That's a good question.
And the answer is absolutely. Although physically, when I'm singing, I get this overwhelming feeling of joy. You know, how many of you feel good when you sing? Yeah. See, that's how I feel when I sing. And when you can see that other people are enjoying that same feeling that you have when you're performing it, does that make you feel even better about your singing? Yeah. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel.
Hi, my name is Juan,
Hi, Juan.
and I'm 10 years old. My question is, what was the first song you ever made?
First song I ever wrote? It was terrible. I mean, the first song that I ever officially sat down to write, and play, and sing was definitely written by a 15 or 16-year-old who was trying to figure out what a song was supposed to sound like, right? I had always sung little melodies and little ditties to myself, you know, when I was a little kid, even much younger than you. You know, when I was 3 or 4, things like that, I would make songs. But when I really got into writing songs and trying to make real songs, the types of songs I had listened to on the radio, way back before the internet even existed. Do you know what that was like? No, exactly. But
There were dinosaurs working the earth, I believe, at that time.
Right. That's right. And we, you know, I would just try to replicate the sounds that I got used to hearing of what I thought a song should sound like, right? So I would use simple techniques like using a descending chord progression, right? So it would be like this. It'd be like a... So that was the first chord progression that I ever wrote, right? And I thought, okay, that sounds sort of like the songs that I listened to. And I just started, you know, writing lyrics down and trying to figure out who I was as a writer. And it took hundreds of songs until I started writing things that I thought really sounded like the type of music that I listened to.
I have a question. What's one of the craziest, funniest things that ever happened to you on tour?
Ooh, craziest, funniest things that ever happened to me on tour. Boy, there's been a lot. I once got invited into a restaurant with my brother. We were somewhere in the South, and anybody here like hot dogs? Hot dogs, right? Now, I love hot dogs. Hot dog is about one of the best tasting things there is in the world. So this guy said, "Oh, why don't you come on in here, and we'll feed you guys." We said, "Cool. What do you got?" And they said, "Well, it's like a hot dog joint, you know." We said, "Okay, cool." So me and my brother, we walked in, and he served us up a cup of hot dogs. And he was so nice, but the hot dogs were so terrible.
You messed up a hot dog.
That I couldn't eat them. And I didn't know what to do with these hot dogs on my plate this guy had given me for free. Other than like pretend I wasn't feeling very good all of a sudden. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sick." Like this all of a
That's like really good.
Yeah, but it's not your food. It's not your food. It's just me. I have this overwhelming feeling of illness all of a sudden, you know. And
I just learned I'm allergic to hot dogs.
Yeah, I just learned. Yeah, I don't know what it is in this particular bun. Yeah, and I just, you know, I didn't have the heart to tell him how bad it was. And I hope he's not watching this at the moment.
No, Will.
Yeah. But my brother and I both took bites and looked at each other. And we were trying to chew it, and we started laughing so hard because we don't know what was in it, but we don't think it was meat. Yeah, no, it's true. And the hot dog, is anybody, you ever see those red like pistachio shells? Yeah. Right? The color of the hot dog was that. Scary, man. It was real scary. When I go back down there, I'm going to bring you guys back some of those hot dogs. No, thanks. What? No. No. What's your question?
It was a nice thought.
Hi, my name is Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
Mr. B took my question, but okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
What was the most embarrassing thing a fan did?
Most embarrassing thing
That's a good question.
Let me think about it. There was one time I was playing a show in San Francisco, and I'm on stage in a park, a big park during the day, and this guy looked like a nice guy. He was wearing a frog costume. I don't know why, it wasn't Halloween. He was dressed like a frog, with the headgear of a frog. I mean, you know, it was funny. And for some reason, he felt like running up on the stage, and you know, he like crashed the stage and like ran up the stairs and grabbed the mic and started doing this, you know. And I just remember seeing one of my crew guys or security guys. No, it was a crew guy, and he was a very peaceful, laid-back guy. And he didn't play sports. He was like a hangout guy, you know? But I saw the frog disappear into the air with my crew guy doing a full NFL tackle, a diving tackle. So there's like this giant frog and a man holding on to him, flying out, you know, into the crowd like this. And it was hysterical. It was absolutely hysterical. You know, they're like, get that frog! You know? So, who's next? What's your name? Janai, nice to meet you.
What else do you do besides singing?
Besides singing?
I hear you dance a little bit.
Beside music? I do very, very little dancing.
I don't know if they know. Do you want to tell them the show you were on?
So, have you ever seen Dancing with the Stars? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. So I did that last year. I did that last year. Me and William Levy and Donald Driver and Gladys Knight. And
How was Gladys Knight?
Oh, Gladys is amazing. She is amazing. How many of you know who Gladys Knight is?
Would you guys sing for
Oh, she was wonderful.
Would you sing for each other during the commercial breaks?
We would. We would. We were sitting there, you know, we'd be going through the phone. Gladys and I would be going through the phone trying to find songs for us to sing together, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's a wonderful, wonderful singer.
Yeah.
So dancing is a good pastime, and I do a little bit of acting.
Do you get nervous when you sing in front of people?
Sometimes. You know, it's funny because if I'm rushed into a room, like if I'm very, very, very busy, and I'm doing one thing after the next, and they just walk me into a doorway and throw me on stage, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous then. If I'm sitting backstage for an hour before a show, doing nothing, then I get nervous. You know? It's sort of like, how many of you play basketball? Yeah? So you know when you got the ball and you're playing, you just, you get the ball, you dribble a little bit, you shoot, you're not nervous. But when it's time to go up to the foul line, it's different, right? The thing what you think should be the easiest thing to do, all of a sudden a different mentality sets in because you're not You're not reacting, which is a more instinctual behavior. Now you're consciously doing something. And when you get conscious, you can become self-conscious. So all of a sudden, what seemed like the easy thing to do, which would be nobody's playing defense, you could take your time, you could dribble as much as you want, you can aim, and then you throw up an air ball. Right? Because you're freaking out. And so that's the type of thing that happens for me performing. If I'm given too much of that empty space before the showtime, then I can become nervous or get anxious about the performance, you know.
Have you ever had a person run up to you on the stage and jump over the guards and do a backflip on the stage?
Never a backflip, no. No, I haven't gotten the backflip.
No backflips.
Yet. No.
And backflips into the audience so they'll be...
She's like her own little stage play.
Creative. That's creative. That hasn't happened yet, but it could.
It might happen today. You don't know.
You know, like when audience put their hands up,
Yeah.
you like jump on their hands, like.
Oh, you want crowd surf?
Down.
mean-
You had your surfboard.
There have been moments. The problem is sometimes some hands are more aggressive than others.
So in other words, they like try to pull you down under.
Some do.
Do they
Some
make you
do.
fall?
Sometimes. Sometimes they don't have to make you fall though. Sometimes you fall all on your own. One time I tried to go over a fence, a barricade, you know. I hopped off the stage and I threw my leg up. I've gone over the barricade thousands of times, you know. And I went and the barricade had these little bars in it, right? So I could put my foot on one piece of it and then throw my leg over it and hop. Well, I remember one time I put my foot on, I threw my left leg over the top, and you know where your sneaker bends just a little bit for your arch? That got hooked in that bar, and I was like,
Yikes.
hung up on this thing, and I was like tugging as hard as I could, and then I just fell over. And then I was just laying on the ground, rolling around, and we just started laughing, and I was laughing on the microphone, and I just decided to keep singing that.
How'd it turn out in the end?
Yeah.
Did it end on key?
Yeah, I was like, oh. You know what happens. It happens. What's your name?
I'm Rain.
What is that?
I'm Rain.
Rain.
Rain?
Yeah. What do you think are the 5 steps to being successful in music?
There are no rules. And just when you begin to define the exact steps, the game changes, right? So I don't live according to steps or the procedure of what it is. I know this. If I do what I love, then I never have to practice because I'm just doing it all the time anyway, right? And it's always on my mind. So I can't help myself. Thank you. But I can't, thank you for the water. I can't help myself but be excited about it, and I never have to work at it because I'm doing it all the time anyway. That is my work. My hobby is my work. So being that you're doing your hobby, no one has to force you to work because you're doing it already. Now, the only other thing is this. How do you take what you do in your house or at the piano at school out into the world, right? And that's all about having the audacity, right? The chutzpah, right? And the bravery to believe that you can do that and to just simply do it, right? And it's really, in my opinion, it really is that simple. And the other main ingredient is to be in a place where your dreams are embraced. My mother always tells me the same thing. She always says, go where you're celebrated. Go where you're celebrated. And if you're not being celebrated where you are, you go where you are celebrated. Right?
Well, you came to the right place today.
Right, that's how I feel. Thank you. And if you love music, there are certain places where you just should be because they celebrate music.
Yeah. Question for me? Okay, shoot.
I actually have 2. One
What happened to my voice? I have no idea.
What do you call it? What do you think are the 5 steps to making successful music?
What do I think are the 5 steps to making music successfully? Become the song, be the character in the song, think of what you're singing, make it real to you, bring your heart and soul, bring everything you've got into the performance, put your whole body into it, don't just sing with your voice, and keep it real. Just do you, when you sing it, make it you, even if you don't even understand every line of the song, come with something, make it something that means something to you, and then you can't go wrong. Is that all right?
I agree.
What?
Can I use the restroom?
Oh, you have to ask me.
Oh, no, that's it.
Yes, you may use the restroom.
All right.